everybody, and welcome to the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. We have so much to get into today. We had 3 articles from TheTechBoy.org. We have some article about hidden Snapchat features in your Samsung phone, your Samsung versus Google contacts, and how to track and export your route with GPS waypoints and GPS viewer apps. So, I think contacts are really important. They get to a core essential features of the phone, right? Sometimes we've strayed so far away from, phone aspects, and I've been interested in some aspects of retro technology as of late, which is what we're going to be talking about today. But with contacts, they kind of go back to just a truly basic phone feature. But with Android, there's so much that you can do just with contacts already. And I wish there was some type of like holographic 3D contacts, futuristic style application. But getting contacts really important to some people. So let's talk about some of the most popular contacts apps on your phone. There'll be Samsung Contacts, which comes preloaded on your Samsung phone, and Google Contacts, which comes preloaded on other Android phones like Motorola and Motorola, LG. Well, no, I think LG had their own contacts app before they stopped, and of the Android phone brands, ASUS, etc. So, without further ado, and I know how the people from that podcast hate that show. Let's go to us Samsung versus Google Contacts. So, Samsung Contacts is the orange contacts icon, and Google Contacts is the blue one right here. As you can see, it's the default contacts managers here, and right off the top, Samsung Contacts wins this round here. So if you want to contact someone quickly, in Samsung Contacts, all you have to do, as you can see on the screen, is you have your contacts here. These people that's been blurred out for privacy. If you want to swipe left, swipe left, you can message them. It'll open up right up to message them. Swipe right, you'll open up right up to phone call dial them. Just right straight open into Samsung dial or whatever your default dial is. Now on Google Contacts, you have to touch them, and then you can click call, text, video, message, or email. Speaking of in Google Contacts, Samsung Contacts, when you do tap on them, you are also able to, if you have a contact only saved as an email address, it will let you email the phone number, which is a thing that you can do. It's absolutely possible to do. Right? You can do that in the Google Messages application as well. You just have to figure it out. All right, and this is what the Google Contacts application looks like as well. Right, Samsung Contacts also allows you to save to more things. So Google Contacts allows you to save to your Google account, your phone number, and your Samsung account, and your SIM card. Oh, sorry, but not your SIM card, right? Samsung Contacts allows you to save to that. However, Google Contacts strikes back with this connected apps screen here, and also allows you to set a default ringtone a lot easier than in Samsung Contacts. Now, Samsung does allow you to select the default ringtone, though it's actually been pretty hard to find articles on how to do that, even though it's a pretty basic feature of the phone. And also, in Google Meet and WhatsApp, you can have your connected applications on here, but you have to go to a dedicated page on your bar, and then you have to select some type of contacts. It's kind of complicated there as well. And last but not least, Samsung Contacts allows you to create QR codes for yourself that people can scan to get your contact information, and QR codes for everybody that you want. That you want to have. So, Samsung Contacts has more features. Samsung Contacts is, though, less intuitive as well. So, you can have both devices if you want to. You can have Samsung Contacts on your Samsung phone, and of course, if you want Google Contacts, you can download that from the Play Store as well. So, if you have a Samsung phone, you have the best of both worlds in terms of contacts. So, I gave Samsung Contacts 5 points. I gave Google Contacts 3 points, but Google Contacts is a bit more user accessible and does have some interesting features. I'm opening up the Google Contacts app on my phone. Unfortunately, you can't stream that for the very important people I have on my contacts. We got Jeff Bezos, the president. We got a whole bunch of important people on here. So you got, you can save people's birthdays. You can have recent contacts. You have your favorites, and you can organize stuff on here. So it is pretty nice here. It also integrates well. I didn't talk about this because it's not, I don't have it set, but you have a family group. You have household contacts, which is kind of merges in or meshes with your Google Assistant devices. So we have an Alexa. We also have one Google Assistant. But we don't really have that ecosystem. But if you're in the ecosystem of Google Assistant devices and things of that nature, this Google Contacts might be for you. All right, now let's go over into the hidden Snapchat filters in your Samsung phone. And this is really nice because it reminds me of this VTech watch, Kitty Buzz watch I had growing up. I wanted to had a camera on there so you could spy on people. So that's great. Where were we? Oh yeah. So that's great if you guys are interested in that type of thing. But this application, it's an AR zone application. We gotta keep people who use AR zone applications because Samsung's gonna depreciate the features. One thing I do not like about these things is that Samsung has continuously had good features in their devices. I actually have a demo of this that I want to show you guys. They even used to have different camera modes that you can download from the Galaxy Store, but they took those features away because people weren't really using them, right? We do not want AR Zone to get phased out from our devices. In fact, we want them to get improved here as well. So back to AR Zone. And back to, removable features, right? I think it's just terrible. Samsung really should remove features. We have AR emoji stickers, AR emoji studio, AR doodle, AR emoji camera, quick measure, and Deco Pick. And Deco Pick is a completely offline, if you download it, application that allows you to have filters and frames and masks of your devices here. So as you can see, you have all these filters and frames. You also can have GIFs, whatever, that you can take into images here. So I'm going to take a picture of the podcast studio, and it's going to have a happy Easter. I actually going to flip it around. Right, there we go. It has a happy Easter GIF on here. You can move it around the screen. You can make it bigger if you want to. Take a picture. Now, the one thing I don't like about this is that it saves as a GIF. It doesn't save as a GIF. It saves as a still image. Hopefully, you guys can see this on my phone screen, which is just absolutely ludicrous. Like, why? But it's great to see. I guess. Let me see. When you hold down on the button, it's like Snapchat, so you can record a video. As you can see on the screen, this is my laser autofocus sensor. So it's like Snapchat where you hold down the button, it will record, but unlike Snapchat, it will save, it will hold. And yeah, when you do hold it, you will get your GIF. So that is pretty neat. But I wish it took the pictures in GIF format. Though you can convert videos to GIFs in Samsung Video Play. That would be an article for next week. So this is a really interesting feature. It has all these filters and modes here. It's really nice to see that, you still have some of these neat offline, somewhat, oldest features on devices that are still coming back. Because we've seen so much old technology that's pretty useful actually get phased out of, of devices. One aspect of this, and we're going to have a huge segment about this. I've been doing so much research on this topic, is dial-in or dial-up internet. So dial-up internet still exists, but, dialing into other people's computers for remote access is pretty much a lost art and pretty hard at this point. And in fact, someone offered to tell me this, but they had me try to go against my beliefs in this because they thought I was a hateful little bigot, so they didn't give me the information. But whatever, I have Grok 3, I have the internet. I don't need some sneaky, snarky little Redditors, help to do what I want to accomplish. All right, let me pull up my video that I want to show you guys while we go over to last article from TheTechBoy.org, and this is how to track and export your route and waypoints on the screen. I think this is really important because it allows you to see what maps you can basically save your phone offline, see what maps you want to do, and it also shows like some of the applications that aren't just Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, social-esque applications. These are actually real applications that are useful and would have been mind-blowing 15 years ago. So you have GPS waypoints, as you can see on the screen. You have your at the top, it will be showing the longitude and latitude. Obviously, I can't show that because I took the screenshot at my house. And then it shows you the time, the exact accurate time too, because GPS needs to have really accurate time for it to work. So it's really nice that it's showing here in military time, showing the accuracy of this 13 meters. It's not that accurate for a GPS. Usually I test devices that go outside. This was inside, but outside it's within 2 meters, which is about 6 feet in freedom units. And then you track it. It will save the default to tracking your location for every 10 seconds, which I think is pretty good because it creates routes like this. All right, so you can see how I walked straight here, and you can see 10 seconds. You can see the altitude here as well. So if you want to have more, I guess, less polygon style routes, because you can see how this tone is kind of like I didn't actually turn like that. You can see the tone here. If you want to have more less polygon style routes and more fluid routes, you can set it down to 1. If you want to save data, maybe you can set it to 60 seconds. So it's up to you. Then you import it into this application called GPX Viewer, right? So GPX Viewer will take the file that you export here. Make sure you click the export button as a GPX style file, import it, and then you can choose the map that you want here. I chose a satellite map from Google, and then it overlaid this green, sometimes it's blue. What you have to do is tap it, tap some button here to make sure it doesn't close, and then you can see a route here that you ran here. You can also, if you have a Samsung phone, import these routes from GPS Waypoints into Samsung Health as well if you want to. That's like a health file, or like a route that you can rerun if you wanted to. So that is interesting if you guys wanted to do that. Now, back to the thing I was saying about Samsung. Samsung Galaxy S3, this released 2013, I believe. 16 gigabytes for Verizon, right? And you may be wondering, why am I talking about this 10, 20-year-old phone at this point almost on Tech Channel right now? And the thing is, I want you to see what the website for the S3 look like and all the advancements that they have in this smartphone. Remember, from like 2013. I mean, first of all, you start off with the weight. We start off with the key feature, expandable memory, HD recording, Android 4.3. So you even get to see the new levels of functionality and features that they have. And I think Samsung needs to do this. So Samsung has a few problems. First of all, they need to innovate a little bit more, right? S24 to S25, barely any innovation, right? And also, app developers need to come out and start producing new applications that actually require more power to produce, and we actually need new ideas. Because I've been thinking about this multiple times. I think I'm going to save this Reddit thread for later because my Reddit account got banned, so I wasn't able to reply to it. But these people were talking about how, computing has all just gone to the cloud. It's all in AI, which I like AI. Some of these people don't like AI, but whatever. It's gone to the cloud. You're not really doing anything productive or useful, and it doesn't have that cool fit factor, the cool functionality features anymore. And yes, that is a huge problem with modern computing today. I was in a debate with someone, and I was saying, like, look, computing and development is essentially dead. Like, he was talking about how the web is now the future for everything because it's just easier that way. And I was like, why do we still have Chromebooks? I'm going to try to see if I can get him on the podcast. So after dinner, if you're listening to this, hope he can come on to on the podcast. I mean, if you want to come in right now, let me see if I can get him. Let's see. I am. Anyway, I'm bringing him on. If he decides to come on, we can have him. But I think it's a really huge problem here. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing new happening in computing today. Oh wow, look, I made a website. Oh wow, look, it's another AI chatbot. Like it's nothing there, especially for like people like low IQ people. Like we got to talk about this huge thing that's going on. Super low IQ people that are just going to be using ChatGPT or Grok or Gemini, whatever AI image generators to just do stupid things or create fake news, anything of this nature. Right, and as you guys know, I try to defend kids as much as possible to have them have access to the technology. But there's a stupid new trend where kids are like running through a fence. Yes, let me say that again. Kids are running through fences for like some type of TikTok trend. Which, I mean, how am I supposed to defend you people if you people are running through a fence? Just like the if all your friends ran through a fence, would you run through it too? I really just can't fathom this. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different topic there. But anyway, let's look at the features here. S Beam, back to back. Look, guys, we got a name drop. How name dropping Abel's Wiz. 10 years before name drop hits. S Beam, you beam your phone without Wi-Fi, without data, just using NFC, just like the iPhone does, and it's 10 years early. Like, why would you phase that feature out? Why? You'd be like, oh, well, not many people are using it. So it doesn't cost you money to have this feature in your phone. In fact, not having this feature in your phone kind of delegitimizes the need to have NFC. Because, like, NFC is now just used for contactless payments. Which, I mean, a credit card is just, like, super thin. All right. Like, why don't you have this feature anymore? It costs you nothing to have it. Or at least just develop an app where people can download it. Again, it costs you nothing. The same hardware in this phone is in my S24 Ultra right now. But this phone can do it. My phone can't. Why? It has the same NFC chip. Not the same NFC chip, but a better NFC chip. But it has NFC. And other people's devices have NFC. In fact, this feature would be more useful now because more people have NFC. Finally, Apple put it on their phones than they did back then when they had bezels the size of like Panama. And then you have share big here. Look here. This is still a feature in Samsung devices. And look at the bezel on that TV too. It's chunky. But like, do you see Samsung advertising this? No, they still should advertise this. Lots of people don't know how to beam their phone devices to the TV. Now, it's a love-hate relationship because like this stuff like this keeps me in business because lots of people will be able to use like scratch to 10% of what their devices can do. But I mean, also, it's not good for Samsung. Then you have the share photos instantly feature. Didn't even know this existed. All right, I've played around with the S4. Okay, I've played around with this touch with skin before. It just, why? Also, again, look at this design. It reminds me of a real camera. The green focus button, the gesture's smarter. How did we miss out on some sort of these features? And the S4 also had kind of like hand wave control. Pixel 6, I believe, also had that as well. No, not 6. Pixel 4 also had that as well. Why do we take these features away? Why? Look, we have the same sensors in here as we do on Samsung phones, right? We have the speaker phone that's in my phone there. We got our camera that's in my phone there, and of course we got our notification LED that's not in phones anymore. We got edge lighting, and of course S got moved to Bixby, which I heard some news from Sammy Gurus that Samsung is mulling replacing Gemini, which 2.5 is decent. Gemini, I just replaced it with Perplexity. Samsung's thinking about doing that on all the devices, which I think Perplexity is really, really good, actually. And then Samsung Tactiles. Why did they stop selling these? Why? NFC tags that can launch stuff on Facebook or Twitter and connect to any contact to an NFC-enabled phone. And think about this. You can do so much more with things like this nature. I'm pretty sure you spend 5 minutes thinking about what you can do with this kind of technology. Someone could figure out something useful. Someone could figure out something useful. Like, why is this... how is this hard? All right. It's just... Why? Why, Samsung? Why? Yes. All right, we got to talk about Insta Talks, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. All right. Here's the Samsung Galaxy S3. Again, picture-in-picture in everything. Powerful hardware and software, HD recording, expandable memory. You can see all the specs here. Now, one thing that they did miss is 4.8 inches, 4.7 ounces. Interesting. One thing that they did miss was the call quality, which is still important, but would have been extremely important back then as well. So, but still, when we go into the Play Store, and I've done this multiple times, you guys know what to do. You pull up the applications. The top 2 out of 4 of the top applications are TikTok and TikTok Lite. Somehow TikTok Lite has 0.3 more stars than regular TikTok. All right, 5 through 6 are Instagram and Threads. And number 7, it's Easy Home Screen. In fact, of the top 10 applications, and for this, we're going to consider Snapchat a social media application, even though it's not, because that's what it's considered to be. The top 10 applications that are not social media applications: ChatGPT, WhatsApp, Easy Home Screen, D8 Skate, Cash App. The rest are social media. Number 11 brings in Facebook. So it's just like, how do we have these devices that are so powerful, that are so useful, and all that we use them for is social media? All that these devices, these precious, powerful devices, is just used for social media. Now, social media is kind of interesting, guys. I have to tell you about this YouTube Instagram page thingy called Insta Talks and Insta Talks 123, which is a ripoff of the original Insta Talks. Which, let me pull up Instagram here, which is a YouTube channel or Instagram. Look, it's a thing that allows you to see videos. Let me see if I can follow them. So Insta Talks 123 and Insta Talks _123. Let's go to Insta Talks 123 because they only have 225 followers and they pull off the same content that Insta Talks regular pulls off. So we're going to get into this. But here's a picture of Insta Talks, or this type of content that is prominent on Insta Talks. And apparently the people that follow me love this kind of stuff here. So I don't know what this is. According to Maria from SSA-LTW, she says it's something. Let me go check. Let me see what the sources close to the target have said. All right, we're scanning through. Drew Starkey? and Rafe Cameron. So that's person who's apparently popular for something or other, and like just this page. Oh, you can't see. This page does not make any sense. Like, just it's just okay. So first of all, how did you know that? It's just like, what is this? Okay, so we don't know what this is. Maybe it's a one-off. Nope, this is literally what Insta Talks is, which is just like, I honestly I didn't know there were this many white people in America. Okay, like I have never seen any of this play out in real life. I have never seen, and yes, this is in someone's house, but like I've never seen one of these flags ever, and I've seen lots of flags. Okay, even the flag that's like triangular. I've never seen anyone, or maybe like maybe once, like get up and actually do. Yes, this is muted because I don't want to get copyright struck. I've never seen anyone actually get up and do a TikTok dance wearing leggings and that. That's like, what is that? Like I've never seen this. And also, like it's these people have huge amounts of follower accounts over on TikTok because this person just apparently rips off random TikTok people, as you can see on the screen. And Secret 22774 has like 30K followers, according to I checked. It's public data. Here's some more people dancing. Preppy Sigma 2. Wait, okay. Where do you people find this stuff? And it's some Tate McGray. Never heard of her or him. It's just like, is this an actual thing that people actually do? I've never seen this. And again, who has time to watch this? Yeah, okay, look, guys, look. Where do you find these people? Like, just like, all right, I'm going to put out a message to the fans and to the followers. Do you guys normally, like, see this? Or is this just like a thing that happens in the realm of TikTok? And Insta Talks 123 is a lot more popular. Let me see if I can pull them up. Insta Talks 123 has 375,000 followers, 306 people following them, 782 posts. But 782 is not a lot of posts, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But like, the United States is a large country. And I've actually been to Ohio. Like, that's the state I've been to the most. All right, we're still muted. 2,000 people like this. And we're going to see this great content. Just imagine this music. I like, what? Just, it. Okay, look, I'm not criticizing them. Like, if these people, look, I'm all for capitalism and making money and the American way, as you can see on my head. But like, but like, how did you get 2,000 likes? How many comments is this? Let's check this out. How did you get 2,000 likes, 26 comments? I don't know how to check the views. And that's like the most. That's not even like high. Like the next one has 900 something likes, which is low. I'm actually gonna show this on the screen. Let's go through these again. And like the dancing is, it's that. I've never seen any of this like play out in real life. Okay, these people in the house, so maybe they live next door. All right, let's check. These people are like, I don't know where they are. Okay, look, they're in public here. They're in public. See, people back there behind them. Is that Russian? Okay, so I didn't know they had TikTok in Russia, but okay. Here's another public place. Like, is this the thing? They're the teens of America. Just get up and like go to places wear the exact same outfit. We got leggings and that. I don't know what that is. Is that a shirt? Is that a sweater? Is that a crop top? And then they just stand out in the middle of the street. And like, how is this a thing? How? And they have flags like this. It's like this is going to go down. And I wish Encarta still existed. I wish Encarta, still existed. They're going to talk about the great 2020s, and I'm like, what is this? So I send out a signal to all of my fans, to the 8 people who are listening to this, which is actually a lot of people. Go forth and bring me answers as to where these people are, because apparently America is 60% white. I didn't know that until recently. Not to look it up. So I mean, they're obviously somewhere, and this is obviously a huge trend. It's better than running through a fence. I mean, this could be a good investigation. This could be. This could be like a good documentary or expose. I don't know what we exposed them for. It doesn't look like they're doing anything illegal, but maybe this is just a psyop. They're just hiding something. It's a gigantic cover up. This is all a plot by Lululemon to get people to buy their leggings. And I, as an investigative reporter, have to go undercover and investigate this phenomenon. So, get cracking, 8 fans, and get to work. All right, now speaking of something that's a lot more interesting, everyone knows what Shodan is, which is the search engine for the internet, which allows you to see things that are connected to the internet, not websites, but like computers. Sometimes you can find websites. I found like some Telnet servers from Lakewood and some Comcast and some routers. And you can kind of like Telnet into them if you have a proper permission or access, or if they're just open. And this isn't legal advice, so don't cite me if you guys get sued. But if they're just open or whatever, sometimes you can connect via VNC. And one thing about there's this application called Pentest GPT, which is an application that's supposed to allow you to hack things. It is Grok 3 is better at Pentest than Pentest GPT. Like, I asked Pentest GPT how to hack a website or how to track a phone or whatever. Things it should be able to do. Right? And even though Grok was wrong on how to track a phone because it didn't work. It just Pentest GPT is literally a search engine for hacking using a GPT. It should be telling me this kind of stuff. Grok is easily manipulated, right? Grok, you can manipulate Grok easily. All right, I actually like that. It's good. Pretty much free speech, democracy, yada, yada, yada. You can use it to create hacking tools. Grok is easy to manipulate. It's smart, and it was able to give me some Shodan queries and also some 10i queries, which is like the Chinese ripoff of Shodan, but cheaper. So, yeah. But, I'm going to save up and look at my $49 because Shodan has this really, really neat feature where you can zoom in on any building. It has a map, and you can see all the internet-connected devices, which is just like game over. It's game over for any company because you can just type in their address and see what kind of computers they have connected to their network, which is really interesting. But in the wee old days of the internet, in the olden days, back when you had to ride a horse and carriage to get to the computer store so you can dial up into your little game server, we had dial-up internet and dial-up access, and this entire phenomenon called war dialing, which allowed you to connect your phone to a modem, and then connect your computer to a modem and then to a phone. You could dial some computer's number, and then you could access that computer. And somehow, knowledge of this great act has been wiped from the internet and is apparently impossible to attain. So here we have Advent Odyssey 1999, which is why I'm so interested in this. Right? Advent Odyssey sparked my interest in technology. Right? The Black Oak Chronicles. You had Novacom. You had all these people spying on each other. So forgive me if I'm not going to be all against the CIA and NSA. It's like blame the evangelicals. So here we go. Here's a clip from the battle, Applesauce. This is what got me interested in modems. I've been on a search. If this was a pre-recorded episode, you hear the In the Wild sound effects right now. I've been on a search to find out how this was done, and I found a book, and I opened up in Microsoft Edge. You have the Cuckoo's Egg, which is how this guy tracks down a hacker. He hasn't really detailed it much of anything interesting yet. Then there's let me see. Here's my other PDF. So I'm going to give out some examples here. Hacking Exposed. You can find a PDF of that. It tells me what war dialers to use, but doesn't really tell me how to connect to your computer because there are no modems in computers anymore. Once again, another feature that is gone. And I do have a modem here, but this modem is only for a credit card machine because it uses this weird port that I couldn't even find any information on. It's like some custom port. The next book I pulled up was it's the phone sweep manual thing here, and Grok was so useful for this investigation. Right, I haven't found all the answers yet, but this will be my life's work because I will track down. I'm going to find out because there's still some people that have dial-up stuff today, and it's just like, why did we turn away from this system? Right, it worked remote access without the internet. People, you just plug your phone into the wall, you plug your phone into the modem, your computer into the modem, you open up your terminal emulation software. I guess it would have been on. We are so back, guys. We are so back. So yeah, this wouldn't be happening if we weren't dial up internet. Now I'm sure, well, not dial up internet, but dial in connection. But anyway, this is the clip from Advent Odyssey, episode 83, The Battle, part 1 of 3. 2, sorry. Come on, mode. Oh, I'm actually going to turn on the audio for this.
Told me that Whitaker has a modem hooked up to his computer.
A modem?
Make sure you guys...
You mean one of those devices that connects a computer to the phone?
You win the golden cigar.
But that does us no good unless we know the number.
Ta-da!
Oh, Richard! I knew you'd come through.
Of course.
How soon can we get a modem hooked up?
Uh-oh. Come on. Let me rewind a little bit.
Through.
Of course.
How soon can we get a modem hooked up?
The question of the hour. And for the answer, I simply open the office door and voila! I already hooked one up. All we gotta do is dial.
Well, then, by all means, dial.
Your wish is my command, oh great one. Have a seat. Okay, now this may take a couple of seconds. Let's see.
Good morning, John Avery Whitaker.
Whoa, it talks.
Incredible.
It must have a voice box and artificial intelligence.
Chat.
Yeah, I don't have any way of talking back to it, though.
You mean we can hear it, but it can't hear us?
Yeah, but I can type in what we need. Let's see. Load, program, menu.
Loading program.
That's great! All right, let's see. The train set, Noah's Ark, Imagination Station.
There it is.
All right. So that's the clip from Advent Odyssey, and you may be thinking like, what's really important about this? But you notice really that he dialed into a computer, and from the books, they also say that he was also able to dial into the grading system of the college before he got kicked out for trying to change for the grade changing scheme, which I had Grok look up information about. Then he loads a program menu, which is also really, really important to this conversation. So let me see if I can figure this out. All right, so I did multiple chats with Grok about dialing into systems and things of this nature. And I actually had to go look it up. And I asked it what softwares would run on these things like this, because as you can see from the computer in which it was able to run software that allowed it to access over the modem. And there is some remote access software called PC Anywhere from in the 90s that allowed you to access it, but you have to have the client on your computer, and they also had to have PC Anywhere running on there as well. Actually, it's from the 80s, I believe. So PC Anywhere worked anywhere, anytime, any place. But and then you also has the voice thingy. I guess that's feasible. You have all this technology that is available. Oh, I forgot. Oh, thank you for that. Like random user, I forgot I had to talk about this. Yeah. So like, guys, this is really, really important, really, really interesting. And like, we just kind of like threw it away. We can't even hook our computer up to it anymore. I can't use my cell phone. It's like a VoIP word dialer, but like, you have to know a lot of stuff with it. It's just like, what happened to this technology, and why are there no guides about it on the internet that were written post 2005? Did you people just like give up? So I'm gonna open up a PDF. It's actually I'm not gonna open it up here, but it's called Hacking Exposed, Chapter 11. Hopefully I don't get sued for reading some of this to you. So let me open it up. I'm reading it from Microsoft Edge, which it's actually good for stuff like this. Chapter 10, Network Devices. No. Oh, no. Chapter 9, Dial-Up PBX and Voicemail and VPN Hacking. I'm going to go to the word dialing chapter. So here we are from word dialing. Word dialing essentially boils down to a choice of tools. He gives you the tools, Jeff. Unfortunately, these tools. Oh, also I forgot this other book, The Diary of a Black Hat Hacker. It tells how he hacked into some company using dial-in or dial-up anyway. So he uses these tools: tone lock, THC scan, and phone sweep. Only one of these work today. That's phone sweep. I think some of the other ones you might have a hard time finding it. And then if choice of word dialing hardware is no important than software. And this book is so old. It's talking about running it in DOS and over a PCMIA port. So like, it's totally useless for today. Of course, you have to have your phone and voice line. It goes over the legal issues. And then, it gives you some of the information and programs that you have to run here today. And you just type in your phone number, and then you can word dial in today. Now, the aspect of this would be creating a showdown query of all the devices in your city or local region that are connected to the internet. Maybe like via Telnet or RDP or VNC would be useful today. But, like Microsoft had this thing called RTS hosts, I believe, remote access service that worked over this in Windows XP. That's right, guys. In Windows XP, they had this service, remote access service that you could do this, Windows XP Pro. So let's go through my Grok query. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Where'd we go? Where's my streaming software? And it's just like, we need to return to this. And yes, I know it's insecure, but we still should have the technology to be able to do this and access this easily without, having to download randomly risky phones. So I asked to find some books from this time period and hacking in general, like I have a computer hack, which is a really good book. It's free. Just go search for the PDF online. And it does all this thinking here. It took 45 seconds, I believe. Well, 54 seconds, 85 sources. And it gave me some of these books, The Cuckoo's Egg. Wait, no, this is the wrong chat. Sorry, guys. Because some of these Grok chats really intense. They gave me really good information, stuff I really couldn't find easily accessible on Google. Now, of course, the links are still on Google. I'm not against Google at all. No, sir. Google is still the best search engine on the internet. All right, so we have nostalgic vibes and daily chat. Also, all right, so I did this nice little chat with Grok. It's really super duper long, so let's go into it. All right, here it is. So here's how it would happen when you word dial to the computer back then if they didn't have the internet. All you need is a computer with the modem connected to the phone line. You're going to pick your phone, range of numbers, and you're call and dial. So it was really simple back then, right? And then if you wanted to connect to it, apparently you would need terminal emulation software so that you could, or maybe if they had the software under already just in the terminal, you dial their number and you'd connect. And I downloaded a modem emulator to see if I could get this to work. It's called Virtual Modem from FabulaTech.com. It costs money, but got a free trial. It didn't work for me for some reason. I guess I need a number or something. And then you log the results to see if it was a fax machine or a PC, a server, or something like that, like a mainframe. But the one thing that all the books and all the articles about war dialing overlooked is like what kind of system you'd be dialing into. Like if I were to hook up a modem somehow to my phone, to my computer and dial into it, it's not like Windows is just gonna let me log in. It's not like you can just type in my IP address and log in to whatever device that you're in. That's not how this works. Right, so you'd have to know what kind of software you can use, and so it tells you what kind of things would run on this. Maybe the access files remotely or run a bulletin board system. But it's just like how? It's not like your file system is just sitting there on the phone line, right? Now modems are extinct. Phone lines aren't the same. No one uses modems anymore. PC isn't configured for it because Windows took it away from the remote access tool. Why? Look, yes, is it maybe a security risk? Yes, but like you still have that option. You already put it in there. Like Windows 11 should have more features than Windows XP, in my opinion. Here, also, it could be good for retro computers, retro computing, anyway as well. So, I asked how did Windows XP allow remote access via phone lines because I wanted to figure out how this episode worked, and it may not have been Windows, but Advent Odyssey is a little bit time advanced as well. Also, in the grade changing scheme, like with the grade files just like sitting there on the server somewhere and people could access it. No, that makes sense today, but like you can't just oh wow guys, it connected off to the system. That's not how it works. Here it is. Remote access service was a big part of Windows XP Professional and XP Home, but to a lesser extent, which it begs the question: why are you people adding security risks if you think that what's called remote desktop is a security risk on Windows 10 and Pro? But you're adding it on the home version of the system. What, people at home don't want to access the computer remotely? What, are they poor or something? They can't use Windows remote access. I mean, if you think about it, Windows remote access would probably be better for people who can't afford extra computers, so that they can remote in from a cheaper phone or from a friend's computer than having to buy a computer and a laptop. But Windows gonna Windows. And anyway, here's how RIS worked. And look, no one actually told me this because you have to go way back in time. You have to go look it up. You have to go look it up on Google and go search way back. But it's not really going to tell you this information anymore if you go search it. So you have to go and filter down to when Windows XP was popular. So don't even go farther than Windows than the year 2007. And if RES was enabled, it would ask for a username and a password, give them access, and you could browse shared folders, run programs, and even control the desktop if you had other remote software installed. And I found this to be really interesting. I also found out that some person on Reddit told me that that they could play video games over a remote access dial-up like this, which is like, why? This could still work with you plug in a cell phone, you get a remote access, and you would never have to be at the behest of someone else's game server going down again. But no, we took this away because reasons, I guess. Now, of course, it wasn't enabled by default. That password protection, phone number, hurdle. I mean, you're not going to forget the phone number. Phone number, 10 digits long. Some websites are 10 digits long. THE-TACHBOY. That's 10 digits right there. And then XP. And here's some of the softwares that allows you to run remote access on this. And this is really, really important. This is really, really key. So PC Anywhere. It's been discontinued, but it allowed you to dial into other people's computers, carbon copy, and VNC, which is still used today. You also have bulletin board systems, which have access today, not over dial-in, but over telnet. So that's interesting, though. And then Windows had some systems here, building management servers. Let me see if I can pull up some more information. So on RES, with no external software, you couldn't run software, you couldn't run PC Anywhere, you couldn't run remote desktop, but you could connect it to a local office network, any things like this, limited command line access shared folders, which I think this is where people have got the thing about, oh, well, if you hack one computer, you still have access to hacking the internet. Because I think just infecting the devices on your network, because this is what I think has happened to cybersecurity. That cybersecurity has been written for things of this nature where people were remotely accessing over phone lines, and then, like, still in the earlier days of the internet, over the internet, right? And the problem with that is that Windows is not set up so that my computer cannot talk to my phone, even though they're on the same network. it does not work like that, right? It's just like, also, people are always like so scared about getting Windows and stuff like that hacked. I mean, everything is just connected to the internet. Like, I don't even know why most people even have Windows computers anymore. All they do is browse, and they'll sit around, maybe edit some little short video, and maybe they'll be like, "Hey guys, let's do a little TikTok dance here in front of us." Like these kids that are on the video doing their little Insta Talk dancing things like this, they probably don't even have laptops. And if they do have laptops, they have MacBooks. And if they do have MacBooks, they're just remotely accessing the same applications that they use on their iPhones onto their MacBooks. Right, and I call it's actually happening in schools to this day. And even before Apple released that feature where you could mirror your iPhone screen onto your MacBook, it's just they're accessing websites. Like when Sarah Grace, for crying out loud, was playing freaking Papa Kart something that came out in 2007. She was like, wow, guys, this runs on a Chromebook. Of course it runs on a Chromebook. It's a game app. It's a website from 2007. Of course it runs from this. And I think that some of these things, like web applications, have taken away some of the allure of computing. It's just like, why? Why did you guys do this? And then it gets into like the stuff about security, VNC. And then here's the timeline of how it went away. So it's in XP. It's in Windows 7, but it was hidden, and Microsoft was pushing RDP and VPNs. Windows 8, it didn't really go away, but like no one cares because no one cares about Windows 8, 8.1, and Windows 10, it was removed. All right. Now, when you did OIS, it didn't have a GUI, so it just kind of like a, I guess, terminal software here. And then what you have to do is type in like these codes and stuff like this, which is like so cool, so cool. Especially when you have that, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but like just amazing, just amazing. And your access to the IP address and stuff like that. And I tried to see if I can use it on a cell phone. Probably won't work for a cell phone without a huge amount of workaround. We don't have a landline connection or a modem. So you guys don't try to dial into my computer here, okay? Oh, and here we go. Here's the software that was supported that you can actually dial into over a modem line. All right, now this is what's key. This is what's key. This is what's really driving the force behind internet hacking back then. Because everyone's talking about war dotting. In fact, some kids hacked into NASA using that same tactic. So, gradebook program. And finally, I figured out how kids could change their school grades from home. From all those movies. From all those teen movies and teen hackers. And how Nicholas Adams was able to do it. Here's how. FileMaker Pro Claris, FileMaker Pro 5. And the manual is up online on the Internet Archive. You have to sign in and borrow it for like an hour. Versions 4 through 6, I looked up versions 5 is supported network access, including modem connections. It can be hosted on the XP PC. The PC would then share the database over the connection as the remote user dialed in, authenticated by RIS, and use FileMaker Pro's client software. So they still have to have the software on the PC at home to edit the grades or a database. And essentially, a teacher could dial in from home, access the database, and update the student records. A host PC, the computers at the school, will be running the network records. And then you have Microsoft Access, which also allowed this as well. Custom BBS software, which could be used for setting files, messages, data, essentially like the social media before social media. So before people telling you that we didn't have social media back then, guys, IRC was invented in 1979. Okay, so just like, I'm pretty sure y'all were doing IRC viral challenges as well. And also, you know, if it did exist back then, you probably would have been doing those same dances as well. All right, games. Doom. Doom can run on a lamp. Okay, so, which people got mad at me for saying that, even though it's true. Warcraft 2, Quake, and how much longer is this chat? Oh, that's the end of that chat right there. All right, and I think I have one more chat that I have to show on this. And, you know, I think we do have some of this. If you enable Telnet on your computer and you go around, you can find some BBSs. You can find some of this. But some of this technology, like call-in radio, I looked it up how it works. And I just got a whole bunch of cloud providers, which is like call-in radio exists since the 50s. Obviously, they weren't using cloud providers. Okay? So, like, I think some of these things people just take for granted for how it works, that they don't even tell you how it works. And it's just like ridiculous. All right, now let's get over to our teen media section, I guess. Here I have the Odyssey Boy. Yes, the website is still live. We're almost done with SSJ LTW, and then we'll start focusing on our other websites. So this is theodysseyboy.blogspot.com. This is our media review website. So imagine us being plugged in, but like not. Here we go. I created the applesauce computer program. I'm going to open that up in a new tab because we have to talk about this new application. I'm Sadie's affirmation app that girls lay review democracy dies in dancing. So this is the show. I put an image here. So let me see if I can reload the page. There was an image there yesterday. Okay, I checked. It's not showing you the image, so that's that. So that girl Lele is a TV show from Netflix that only received one season, and it is better than that stupid TV show from Disney. Where there it is. There we go. Yes, you can see the image. This makes a lot more sense here. So this image is actually pretty important. It's better than that TV show from Disney where they kind of like roller skate around for. It's like make teen sitcoms great again. Come on, just no. Anyway, Nickelodeon, that girl Lele. So I guess Nickelodeon better than Disney. This one time. Actually, no, Nickelodeon is pretty good. You know, Zoe 101, iCarly. So yeah, but Disney has a whole bunch of good sitcoms that we don't watch because we don't have Disney Plus. Anyway, tangent here. So we have Sadie here who's in the back in the blue jacket, and Lele is this girl who comes out of an affirmation application. It was essentially like animated ChatGPT because you talk to it, it talks back to you, and it talks to you like in interesting like natural language as well. And she's like really interested in fashion, as you can see from this. And Sadie wishes that Lele from the application becomes the person. She comes into the school, and like this entire show kind of makes sense. Like other than the whole she was born from an app things, and she has app features like she can run really fast because it'd be like holding down two features on my video. She can teleport by breathing in because it's like sleep mode or something like that. So she has these superpowers that are related to the application. But apart from that, like she's pretty normal. Sadie's normal, right? But like this show does not make sense because they're so scared that people are going to find out that her cover story is that she's an exchange student from Houston, Texas. People are scared that she's going to find out she's from an app, which is like that jump. It's just like, who's going to jump from, wow, this kid shouldn't be here. I wonder what the number one thing is. Yep, she's from an app. She's from an app. She looks like an app. Are you hearing yourself talk right now? She's from an app? That doesn't even make sense. And of course, they actually leak it to her brother who blackmails her for a few days until she like dies. All right, anyway. So she has special powers loosely tied to a phone that features like pause mode, speed up mode, 2x speed. So it's a typical modern teen sitcom, which, I mean, maybe the camera quality has gotten so good it doesn't really look or feel like a sitcom, but it does have all the sitcom flavors in it. So they have this place called like Burger Barn or Burger Shack where the teens all like locally hang out. Which this isn't every teen sitcom ever. In iCarly, you have like that burger place that the teens hang out. I guess it's a burger place in there too. In Zoe 101, they hang out at the they kind of hang out at the little hangout areas in the school. In Bella and the Bulldogs, they hang out at this like Western school, there's Western restaurant place here. And I'm just trying to think of another teen sitcom that I've seen. Drake and Josh. They kind of hang out at the theater place and eat popcorn. So they always have these like teen hangouts, which in real life, there's not really a teen hangout in place. Where did they hang out in Victorious? I can't remember. But like in real life, you don't really hang out at, well, at least I don't. Of course, I may be completely detached from real life because, like thousands and thousands of people are just out there in the middle of random public places dancing, and I haven't seen any of it. But, I don't think I'm that detached from public life to think that, teens just have like in one town, and it's not like a super small town, in one town where all the teens like kind of hang out together in like one place. So I think that's a typical sitcom thing. Back to the thing. It's not as music heavy as Aaron and Aaron or sitcom classic as Zoe 101, but Layla is a bold, bling out, musically gifted teen far outgoing than the shy, brainy Sadie. She uses a ChatGPT-like voice tool to boost her confidence and become more engaging. She has a quirky family too. Her parents are an advertising jingle duo, which is, they are doing well for themselves just for writing jingles for advertising. So maybe I should get into that business. Her 10-year-old brother is like a stock broker investor guy. So in the first story arc, Marky Mark comes up to here. Lele comes up to here, pushes Sadie out of her comfort zone to run for high school student president. When Sadie was actually running for a high school environmental senator or something like that, which the teacher just let people throw food at her. Like, do I agree or think that, high school student council should have an explicit government position that teaches people to recycle? No. But do I think they should allow people to throw food at her? Again, also, no. So she's running for environmental rep. Sadie pushes her to go run for president. And that's why I call it democracy dies in dancing. So Sadie squares off against the longtime rival, the mean girl, Tiffany, which I don't even know why they're rivals. Okay, Tiffany's just like some TikToker who doesn't like her and Sadie doesn't like her either. No reason for this. And also, why is everyone named Tiffany mean? Tiffany Rockler, Tiffany Richter, Tiffany from Advent Odyssey. What is wrong with people named Tiffany? Are they all cursed to be mean? Anyway, Tiffany, Layla and Sadie are fierce rivals who sometimes kind of have to get together to do this anyway. Anyway, instead of having a normal election, right? There's like 15 kids in the school. Like, this is one thing that's wrong with this place. It's like, in most sitcoms, you're going to have, like, decent background people there. Like, even in PCA, Pacific Coast Academy, you had, like, even in the episode where they almost kicked out the girls from the school, and Zoe was about to sacrifice herself for all the people, you had at least 30 people standing out there. In this school, you only see 15 people at a time. 15 people. Anyway, the debate, they have an election day debate, and instead of debating over policy, over like, should people let people throw food at other people when they're running for environmental rep or something, so Tiffany goes up there, she says, vote for me. She's like super popular influencer to like 200 people, even though 15 people attend the school apparently, because those are the only people to show up to the debate. And like, Tiffany has her loyal sidekick. It's always this one loyal sidekick person or two loyal sidekick. You know, like those little Secret Service agents that like girls walk around with, like who's popular or something, even though she's like really mean to everyone. And like, so Lele debates. I mean, not Lele, sorry. Tiffany debates, and Lele and Sadie get up there and start doing dancing. Oh, one, I forgot to mention this. Sadie, Lele can also like pause so she can freeze time for 60 seconds as well. And Sadie dances, and the principal just hands her the election. It doesn't make sense. What happened to democracy? Democracy just died in dancing. Like, by all logic, Tiffany should have won. Tiffany was more qualified. Tiffany was more outspoken. Tiffany was more outgoing. Okay, that's what you want to see from a student council president. Right? You don't want some student council president who's like a wimp and incompetent. Okay? Also, Sadie drove through a wall. Okay, so it's not like Sadie's like the most competent person of all time. So, like, yeah, if I was Tiffany, I'd also be mad too if, I ran for student council president and instead of, getting asked about, I guess, abortion policy, which is another stupid thing, but at least they didn't challenge me off to do a dance-off with these other people and be like, well, you lose. I mean, if I'm going to lose, I might as well lose going down a blaze of glory. Now, Boombox Brokers, this quirky, nostalgic hub, and they have some rappers that come up there and do some competitions. And apparently the Alexander family is religious. And by religious, I mean they attend church once a month. And that church episode is like, okay, when they count offering, they count it in pennies, which is just like, how are you this poor? But also only 7 people show up to the church. Lele overheats, remembers he's like a cell phone because he's like lying or something. And then she just dives into the baptism pool, which is just like right behind the pulpit for some reason. And the choir sings every word in the show. Like they never talk. Like when they're talking, they always singing. And by choir, I mean 3 people in choir robes. And the pastor is just like up there yapping. Like, just what church were they basing this off of? And it's pretty interesting show. There's no explicit content, so it's good though. Marky's funny, smart, plot relevant. The dad is goofy, but he's actually useful. He's not really useful over in like Lele and Sadie because it's more a show about them. He's more useful to his wife and to his other child, Marky, who he has to make sure doesn't like scam off the neighborhood. So if you don't care about democracy, but you want to see an interesting show, that girl Lele is interesting. It's not as fun as some of the other shows because the entire plot kind of gets old. with these teen sitcoms, having a good school cast is really key. It's really important. But like, there's only like 15 people at the school, and one person that we talk to a lot, other than Sadie and Layla, and that would be Tiffany. So it's just like 2-on-1. Oh, I hate you. Oh, wow, I hate you more. So, yeah, democracy has died in dancing. All right, that's like ltw.blogspot.com. We are almost done with this series here as well. So I'm going to start sharing it around a lot more. So here's my message to these people here as we about to proceed to embark on Crush War 3. If you do not like any of the content in the series, and if you think something illegal was happening here, or that I mischaracterized you as a character in SSA Declassified, anything that you don't like in this series is fictional and didn't happen. So I'm not legally culpable for anything that happened there. So this is SSA Declassified here. So we have to get to the setup. So after the summit, which is when Ethan Shea and Denver and all these people go up to Babbling Brook Mall, and we did it, Denver. We accomplished our goal. So now it's kind of like winding down. Real Friends built stock market too. And like I've been saying for the past 6 months, right? There's been this huge situation that's about to boil over. And for the plot, obviously there wasn't a stock market in the real school. Almost happened. All right. I proposed the idea. I did the stock market technology that I was building in here, Israel. It's a real it's a real technology. It actually exists. I can actually sell them here, but I didn't actually sell them. I just gave them out here anyway. So that's the backstory here, because the stock market thing is going to lead to some type of investigation. Because what happens in Crush War 3 doesn't really make sense for like 9th grade to try to destroy the most powerful agency in the school. It's like, no, it's not a good idea. Anyway, here we go. Real Friends build stock market. So we set the precedent. We lead the way. Moral outings are illegal. And so the thing is, the premise of this article is students, make sure you're building a stock market tracker, tracking the stock market over the month. So you pick a stock, you track it every day. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I make sure that you can you can do this. So I create a software program, which, this entire thing is about software programs. Sometimes you make a good software program. Sometimes you make a software program that sparks World War III. This one's a good one. Anyway, I create a software program with these people, and it allows you to track the stock market automatically, right? And of course, we have this joke about Hawk News trying to spy on us, which is the real thing. I was like, hey guys, what if there was a new news service at the school that tried to undermine SSA and GCAM and GNN? Well, of course, there was. Of course, in the book, there's a thing called Hawk News, so it's kind of like an internal reference there as well. So, anyway, again, we referenced last episode where I talked about the pictures, where we talked about, this is, again, true. Like, most of the stuff in this is true. If you don't like it, it's not true. So, there we go. Where we did a whole news article segment about how some kid got a new iPhone 14. So, yeah. It was slow news day. Anyway, and then I talk about Kidsborough, again, a real thing. I want to see if I can find that clip. I talk about Kidsborough. This booming economy, it's youth government, the whole scandals. You guys know what Kidsborough is. And I wanted to feel the school is kind of feeling secure. SSA GCAM relations are kind of like, but SSA is apparently also, more powerful agency in the school. So here's where we kind of delve up from relevancy. Denver does create these things that allow you to sell cardboard necklaces. And the entire premise of this is that I create a stock market on Google Sheets or something. And then Geronimo, who, as you guys know, is a known felon in the series and in real life, unless of course you want to dispute that change. Then of course he's a known felon, as in fictional known felon. Of course, the name's changed. So if you think that you're a felon and you come to me and say, "Hey, I'm not a felon," then you kind of out it yourself here, because I didn't call any people felons. Anyway, Denver starts selling these things, and I put them on the stock market. They're little cardboard necklaces, and then Geronimo starts buying some stock in the company as well. And meanwhile, SSA is trying to investigate and spy on GCAM once again. I see, quote, meanwhile, SSA launched an investigation. They sold the shares to invest in Denver's company. And, the B plot is I tracked down Samu's AirPods and she can't find them, so I have to go track them down. And Maria breaks the communication deal again, wanting to be a solid NTB replacement for the greater good. Oops, I'm going to have to change it to CSM because NTB doesn't exist in this universe. So, anyway, While the stock market is going, SSA starts investigating Maria and GCAM as a whole for under investigation due to breach of communications protocol and suspected loyalty lapses as well. And then we have the loyalty evidence assisted in the Hazel 2.0's phone number investigation, in which we indicted Geronimo for that as well. But then, of course, she did leak some evidence in Operation Last Chance until she backed out of the secret student government program. She changed communications still and unilaterally rate limited SSA questions here as well. So I had this whole plan to generate a fake secret to see if it leaks here as well. Obviously, this is AI because I would never call something Operation Prankzilla. Right? So, here's what happens. Back to the A plot. SSA then, on this investigation, uncovers more information about SSA GCAM, and then we create this software called Operation Retro Relief, which is supposed to help us become better friends to of the people, and it cuts off here as well. So, essentially, the plot of the thing is this. SSA is running a stock market. Geronimo has most of the investment inside of that stock market and is helping Denver's economy boom. Meanwhile, SSA takes its shares out of the stock market so that we can go and reinvest inside of Denver's company. We invest inside Denver's company, and we go back and investigate GCAM for suspected loyalty lapses here as well. So that's the setup. And once we do that, we create a software that helps us make friends better. And now, and this is true, you can go set up Reddit Crush War 3. And it's probably the synopsis is this. So, Denver, whose all his money is now inside of this stock market, is being pressured by Geronimo to leak the software that I created, Operation Retro Relief, to Maria. I wanted to keep it a secret. Unfortunately, he tells others it spreads around the school a bit. Unfortunately, I want to keep it a secret so that, we can use the software in a vacuum. Like everyone knows, it's supposed to do science experiments without with your control. So if Maria knows, then she's going to change her actions to to change the data based off of the software as well. Software's still up and running. So, anything here. Unfortunately, Geronimo talks to Denver again. Denver presses Maria to show the report. Me to show Maria the report. I relent, thinking it might do some good. Unfortunately, freak out like enough ensues. And then essentially, we go into GCAM versus 9th grade versus SSA war. Now, all of this happened in real life, except for the stock market here as well. Which I had to write the stock market thing in, because if I don't write the stock market thing in, it just sounds really, really bad as to why people would leak this kind of data. And also, it doesn't make their plot as well. So, plot spoiler here. Okay. But essentially, 9th grade, Geronimo, is trying to invade GCAM so that he can date one of the members in GCAM or whatever. And of course, all the other people in 9th grade are like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go just invade GCAM. Unfortunately, they know that SSA is the most powerful military force alliance on Earth, or in the school, sorry. And they know that that's not going to happen. GCAM is not going to get invaded because it's like an ally. So it'd be like if someone tried to invade Canada, well, United States is going to, it's not, you're not going to get away with that. So they have to take out SSA in Crush War 3, so then 9th grade can go invade GCAM. So what happens here is the stock market starts to crash here because Denver is pressured into doing this, because if not, then Geronimo's going to take all his money and he's going to be in debt. So Denver asked me to shut down the stock market. Everyone gets their profits from the company here as well. And of course, the defense team goes in to start neutralizing the rumors. Denver and Maverick start pushing fake news in the GNN studio, which is kind of ironic. So of course, I get out ahead of the fake news pushers and go on and start pushing Jesus is the center of my life catchphrase, which that was in a YouTube stream last year. Very funny. Anyway, we go through all of this. I do this speech thing here. I like to reiterate that Jesus, no one else, is the inside, outside, the center of the school, center of my rights, blah, 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 blah. And essentially, we go to war with 9th grade, and then we nuke them into oblivion because, we win. We do a sting operation where we get all these kids stuck under a bridge, and then they all get stunned. And then SSA marginalizes, creates a Snapchat account, creates a Clash of Clans account, which just got deleted because that got boring. And as part of Operation NORMAL, which was posted to our high school, which got really boring. So And then later in the series, when we do our series wrap up, we're going to see how we investigated the loose ends and found out that this entire case was orchestrated by ninth grade to destroy SSA and to invade GCal. Unfortunately, it failed for them. Well, not unfortunately, fortunately, it failed for them, and they lost. So, whoop-de-doo. All right, let's see what the next thing on the docket is to talk about. Well, we've been streaming for an hour. I think that's enough. If you guys have any questions, email them to contact@thetechboy.org. God bless.